100% empowered by Petty Vision Productions. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Lego. I ain't here to wake nobody up. I'm here to unplug you.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding. From the words I spit, so sharp, so freezing. So cold, behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste and my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. God knows.
What up, though? It's the word. You see the title, we gonna chop it up. But first, let me get into the chat. Bronze, what up, my brother? Appreciate you. Tamika, what up, sis? Appreciate you. Bud Fowl. Hey, that was a dope premiere with Barry Bonds. I like that, bro. I like that. But yeah, we gonna chop it up tonight. It's an open panel. The link is on the community wall. There's a lot going on with the politics, with the unaliving of the unaliving of the system, man. That was crazy. So it's an open panel. We can talk about whatever, but I'm gonna talk about a lot of something of a lot of bit. We're gonna talk about something of a lot of bit tonight. But yeah, feel free to hit the link. It is on the community wall. Yeah, man, that was crazy, and there's nothing wrong with looking for solutions to problems, saying what people should or shouldn't do, but you can't victimize or you can't turn the victim into the victimizer, right? You can't shame the victim. Ain't no victim shame. That lady ain't deserve to lose her life. It was reckless. It was negligence. I mean, a pot of hot water, you could have used non-deadly force if you wanted to take her down. You got different tools. It just seems when it comes to black people, melanated people, deadly force is the first option. That's a problem. Because if we're a threat or a non-threat, if we're in our home or on the street, it's like deadly force. And people try to justify that, man. I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can sleep at night. Trying to justify that bullshit, especially hearing what he said afterwards. Like, ain't no justification. That told you that man's intention. He showed his character. Yeah, call a spade a spade. Prayers, what up, though? Appreciate you, my brother. My brother's in the building. Dee in the building. Appreciate you. Where the midgets at? I don't know, Prayers. I ain't get up. I've been away, so I ain't been in the midget circuit. So, but yeah, that right there to me, like he showed his intention with his words after the fact, with his conduct after the fact, the way he acted, the way he reacted after the fact. It told the story. Open shut case. So the solution isn't how people look like what people should do. Like, well, she shouldn't have did this. No, let's talk about what the cops need to do. Y'all need to stop hiring these scary ass people, these ignorant, racist ass people. Y'all need to come up with a better plan to weed these out, because how is people supposed to trust cops, especially black people, if we getting killed in our own home and we call for help? That make people not want to call. It's hard to not associate yourself with something you look like. It's hard to do that. Some of us can because maybe we don't feel we're in that same class of people, but you are. It ain't even about class at this point. So it don't matter where you black at. It don't matter where you black at. And you ain't gotta be black. You can be Mexican, you can be Asian, you can be white. If they don't feel like you fit a certain, if they feel like they can do it and get away, they go do it. And you give them any little reason to do it, they go run with it. Even boiling a pot of water. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But this is society we living in right now. This is where we at. So what do you do? Do you paying your taxes to put food on their table? That's how they get paid through our taxes, right? So it's a service they provide, but you don't know what side of the service they will provide to you. It's like you paying for your own torment. Like we paying for our own torment. If something happened to us, we want to call the cops, but then we think like, damn, are we go? That's fucked up. That's a messed up feeling to have. But that's reality for a lot of people. And if you don't have to experience it, it's hard to fathom, right? It's hard to comprehend it. It's hard because that's not your life. That's not your experience. Shit, you see some people cussing the cops out. You'll see some people cussing them out, but there's people online defending the cop. That just shows your character. So, that is what it is. People trying to justify it. Like, that's the problem. Like, when we see stuff that's not right, we try to make it right. Not everybody, but the people who do try to make the wrongs right, you the problem. That's why it don't get fixed. Because people steady justifying his action. People steady trying to justify it. But, there's a lot of stuff in the news. Like, listening, I don't know if y'all caught the questioning from the former Secret Service director, because since then she got fired. But I think we were saying this last night. Her reluctantness of talking about it, that told me one or two things, right? Either she covering it up or she knows some fishy shit going on. Either way it go, that wasn't normal. Nothing that happened that day was normal. So either she ain't trying to let the cat out the bag or she part of the cover up. I think they allowed it to happen. I don't know. I know that listening to the FBI director today, he said that guy got off 8 shots. 8 shots before they took him. Before they took him down. He got off 8. How do you get off? How do you? And then he said they ain't even use a ladder. He used some type of device, like grappling device to climb up the damn building. I'm not bullshitting you, man. Dude said, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Dude said he used some type of device. He didn't use a ladder. I'm gonna just play the audio because I'm not clear yet on how to. Yeah, I think this is it. Oh, let me share this with you. Not a ninja hook, man. Look, bro, when he was saying this shit, I'm like, bro, what the? He said he used some type of climbing device.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Director Ray, for being here. How many shots did the shooter fire?
Well, we know that he fired at least 8 because we recovered 8 cartridges on the roof.
Okay, and are all the
8 shots.
cartridges and the unspent bullets, have they been, you know how many there are? You've accounted for all of those? So I assume, yeah.
We believe we have. Again, was lots of work still ongoing, but yes, we believe we have accounted.
And did the recovered shells, the cartridges, match the shooter's rifle?
My recollection is yes.
And you conducted analysis that confirms that?
Well, we work with ATF,
Poker
but yes,
man,
so some of the work has been divided up. But
And how many shells casings were recovered from the location of the counter snipers?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the last part.
From the counter snipers location?
That I don't have the answer, at least here at my fingertips.
Okay. Did the blood and tissue pattern of the shooter, did it match the stories or the witness testimony that you've heard so far?
Can you, well, I'm not sure I'm following the question.
Well, I assume you've interviewed the counter snipers, or you have that evidence and other witnesses describing the kill of the shooter. And I'm wondering if the blood and tissue and brain matter is consistent with the testimony that you're receiving. In other words, is the physical... In
terms of the manner of death?
Exactly. Is the physical evidence consistent with where the shot from the counter sniper took place?
Yeah. So the autopsy is being handled by, as is not unusual, the state authorities. My understanding is...
You can tell. Now, if she would have answered similar to this, she probably would have had her job. He telling information, and this is the head of the FBI, right? So yeah, they got a big part in the investigation, but she had no answers at all, nothing. She knew nothing. Everything that she stated, she didn't really even state anything about the situation. She more talked about what their protocols was. And then when they asked her specific protocols, she said she couldn't, tell them the logistics of it. But this is, he lied. Bro, hold on. Listen to what he say, bro.
Thus far, I don't think it's fully complete, which is not totally unusual. But so far, nothing remarkable on that front.
That's from the body itself, but from actually the scene where the shooter was found, is everything consistent with the testimony, the physical evidence at the scene? Is that consistent with the testimony you've seen, that you've heard so far?
So far, yes. Again, ongoing investigation.
Were you able to determine whether the shooter took the gun up with him when he climbed up to the top of the roof, or was it already placed there somewhere?
So that is something that we're drilling into right now that we don't know the answer to yet. I can tell you, which may be relevant, though, to your question, that, and I don't think this has been reported yet, that the weapon had a collapsible stock, which could explain why it might have been less easy for people to observe, because one of the things that we're finding is people have observed him. The first people to observe him with the weapon were when he was already on the roof, and we haven't yet found anybody with firsthand observation of him with the weapon walking around beforehand. So that doesn't mean he wasn't, obviously, but the collapsible stock is potentially a very significant feature that might be relevant to that.
Did he have a scope?
I believe so, but as I sit here right now, I don't remember.
Okay.
How do you not know? You know he had a collapsible stock on the weapon, but you don't know if it was a scope on the weapon. They sold him that gun. Hey,
You mentioned about 2 hours before the incident that he'd had a drone and he was using a drone. Instead of me putting words in your mouth, just tell me what
Big
how you
Mick,
discovered
what
the
up, bro?
drone, how you discovered the time, and how you discovered, if you can describe what he would have been observing with the drone and how you determined that, please.
So this is something that's very much ongoing right now. We're going back and forth with our lab as they continue to do work on it. What I would say is the drone was in his car. As I said, we've been able to, by exploiting the drone, determine, its use and flight paths. There were no pictures or videos on the drone of the day of the rally, for example, but we have been able to reverse engineer the flight path of the drone from the day of the rally. And that's how we know that for about 11 minutes from, I think it's around 3:50 p.m. to 4 p.m., somewhere in that range, he was flying the drone, and we have the flight path. It's about 200 yards away from where former President Trump would ultimately be speaking. And so that would have primarily given him a vantage point. Trying to think how to describe this. If the former president's podium is that way,
Yeah.
the drone would be over here looking, say 200 yards again off this way, looking back. So it would have shown the shooter, we think, again, we're still doing more work on this. I really want to qualify what I'm saying, but I'm trying to be transparent and lean in here. We think it would have shown him kind of what would have been behind him.
But when you say behind him, behind the shooter.
Correct. Like, in other words, almost like giving him a rear view mirror of the scene behind him, except again, he wasn't flying it overhead while he was later back for the assassination.
But he would have had, with the drone, he would have been able to also assess kind of what, because the stage, I assume, was already set, he would have been able to assess that angle with the rooftop as well, forward and backward, I assume.
Well, certainly going towards the podium. Again, we're still trying to figure out exactly what he saw, because we're having to, in effect, because there's no recording of what he saw during those 11 minutes, our hypothesis at this point, the experts think he would have been live streaming it. And so we're trying to, in effect, say, okay, well, if this was the flight pattern, given these capabilities of the drone, what would you have seen? What could you have seen for those 11 minutes? And again, it wasn't over the stage or the kind of the hub of the rally. It was about 200 yards away, but it looks like it would have been looking, let's say, length of a football field or so, more, kind of towards the podium.
Great, thank you, Mr.
Director, let me go back to where Mr. Bishop was. Tell me about the drone. You act like you want. Go ahead.
So in addition, it appears that around 3:50 p.m., 4 o'clock.
Okay, that's important information. What about the bombs that we've heard about
Because of the on-off position on the receivers, that if he had tried to detonate those devices from the roof, it would not have worked. Okay. But that doesn't mean the explosives weren't dangerous.
And I'm sure we're going to get into all these subjects a little bit relative to the bombs. Is this
significant witnesses, and we're obviously getting access to their materials and that kind of thing. And the Secret Service
getting
has been
access
fully
to
cooperative.
You have access to the.
Yeah.
We believe we have. Again, was lots of work still ongoing, but yes, we believe we have accounted.
And did the recovered shells, the cartridges, match the shooter's rifle?
An ongoing investigation.
Were you able to determine whether the shooter took the gun up with him when he climbed up to the top of the roof, or was it already placed there somewhere?
So that is something that we're drilling into right now that we don't know the answer to yet. I can tell you, which may be relevant, though, to your question, that, and I don't think this has been reported yet, that the weapon had a collapsible stock, which could explain why it might have been less easy for people to observe, because one of the things that we're...
You mentioned about 2 hours before the incident.
By exploiting the drone, determine how we know that for about 11 minutes from, I think it's around 3, what would have been behind him this point, the experts think he would have been, I think, a week before. And he spent roughly 20 minutes there. Then he went to the grounds again on the morning of the event, it appears, for about 70 minutes, I think. But again, I qualify that. I'd have to go back and look to be sure of that part. And then he came back in the afternoon. So that would be, I guess, a third time for good. But that included things like this drone activity we just talked about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, thank you for appearing. Thank you for the extraordinary job that you're doing. Please convey our thanks to the men and women at the Bureau. Have to go through background checks?
Yes.
Well, clearly the Bureau has, actions or are there any indications of...
Or be able to see, no matter how good our legal process is. But that's what is that we've just in the last couple of days found that from our review, to your point about devices, analysis of a laptop that the investigation ties to the shooter reveals that on July 6th, he did a Google search for, quote, how far away was Oswald from Kennedy? And so that's a search that obviously is significant in terms of his state of mind. The images that we've...
A party, or was it simply people of a high profile?
For the Butler rally. Yeah. Waiting on for various accounts, platforms, et cetera. Any one of them could be one that would have very indicative, very important information.
If I could be permitted one very short additional question, Chairman.
But I'm sharing that piece of information with this committee.
Yeah, I might have to find it. But yeah, they said old boy used some type of device to climb the... I got to find the clip. I was watching it live when I heard it. I forget. I thought it was old. I thought he said it in that piece, but I guess not. But yeah, I'll find it later. Well, what up, though? It probably ain't gonna be too long. We almost back to monetization. We'll get back to the content. I'm about to start doing some uploads. That's why I'm not gonna be on too long tonight. I'm gonna try to do an upload real quick. But yeah, it's a lot going on. It's a lot. I think a lot of it is a distraction, but you can't deny that was botched. Trump, I don't know what made him turn his head, but you can't say that was divine. That had to be divine. That had to be divine. Him turning his head just that slight, saved his life. Hey, they try to take that man out. I just feel like, just my opinion, not saying nothing is factual. I just feel like it was too many mistakes made. Too many, for a prestigious department as, the Secret Service, to make that many mistakes. Like from the number of agents they had to the resources. I mean, they was talking about how it was more resources allocated to the vice president's wife than it was to Trump, even though Trump's his gathering was a lot larger and it was outside. He was more vulnerable than the first lady. So it's just even the little things like that we wouldn't have knew of unless they had these hearings. We wouldn't have knew that the first lady had more agents guarding her in a building than Trump had guarding him on the outside. We wouldn't have knew that. But it just goes to tell you where we at right now. There's people out here talking about black on black crime when you got people trying to kill the former president. That shit wild. Like, in my lifetime, I never thought I would see an attempted assassination. This was almost like living back in the Kennedy days, right? In the 60s. We're in 2024. And they let that man get off 8 shots. 8 shots got off before they took him out. That's wild. That is wild. Yeah, man, but yeah, I'm gonna get my butt off here. I ain't really got nothing to talk about. I was hoping people hit the link and we can chop it, but I'm gonna get off here and do some uploads. But I'll be back tomorrow with something to talk about. But y'all know what I always say, man. Care about how you feel. These are conversations to build nation. Y'all have a good night, man.
You could try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. Looking for change, looking for pain, pulling a mob, pushing a train. I'll never stop, stick to a lane, pick up the pieces and go rearrange. I'll be the best above all the rest, put me to the test and expect nothing less, you check as I'm chess, what's happening next, yeah. You got the venom, a tangible weapon, no